second. Okay. Let me double check here, everybody, but I think we are live. If you see us and you're joining, say hello in the comments. If you're watching the replay, also say hi in the comments. But right now, really just trying to figure out if we're actually live. So if you see us, let us know. Say hi. Tell us. There we go. We're in. And there's that little pinned comment that keeps showing up if you're in the Facebook group that I keep forgetting, which is a link to the group that you're already in. Really, really helpful. Really helpful.
It is. It is.
It's been a morning, everybody. So happy Tuesday. Welcome to Redefining Entrepreneurship with your favorite duo. Well, I shouldn't say that because I also do a monthly live with Jamie, and she would probably get a little upset if I said you were my favorite, but you know.
We don't have to tell her.
I don't have to tell her, so as long as she's not watching.
We don't have to tell her.
And I think she has a live right now herself, so she's probably not watching.
That's okay. It's all right. You can have two favorites. It's okay.
Yes. So delegating, why it's necessary and how to do it your way. That is what we're talking about today. Delegating, to some of you may feel like a 4-letter word. Raise your hand if it does, if it feels like a 4-letter word. And Jamie. The other Jamie.
The other Jamie.
But I think a lot of people, and Mara, you're going to be able to talk to this probably even more so than me. I know that this is something I talk about a lot with my clients, but you see it firsthand. A lot of people are scared of the idea of delegating for multiple reasons, whether it's can't afford it, don't trust people, and we'll talk about that. But let's start by talking a little bit about, well, first of all, why people's businesses aren't growing. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, which that can happen for a number of reasons, but a big reason is whether you're starting out and really starting to grow, whether you've been in business for a while, you have a team, but you've also kind of hit a plateau, or you're not seeing the growth that you want. A lot of times when I dig deep with clients, the underlying cause of the problem is delegating. And that can be you haven't delegated the right things to the right people. So you have people in the wrong positions. Or you haven't learned the right delegating for you. Or you're just starting out and you haven't delegated anything to anybody. Which is going to hold you back. You can't keep everything on your own plate. Even as you grow, you're mid-6, close to 7. I see a lot of CEOs still maintaining control. Mm-hmm. There's a big control aspect. It can be hard to let go. This is your baby. This is your dream. This is your vision. No one else is going to believe in it like you do.
Yeah.
And it's a very common thought. And it's hard to overcome. I'm not going to lie. It is hard to overcome. You kind of have to learn a lot of self-trust, believe in that you are putting the right people in the right places. And we're going to talk about how to do that here in a minute. But if you start to trust yourself, start to follow a process that you are bringing in the right people in the right places at the right time, that becomes a whole lot easier to let go, let your team do what they need to do, and you get back to what you need to do. And so what happens is, whether it's the control aspect, whether it's you think you can't afford help and to be able to delegate, or you delegate and you're delegating with all the wrong places and to all the wrong people, there's also a money aspect there. So you're wasting money and you're not making money. Or if you haven't delegated anything at all, you're never going to grow. I'm sorry to be so blunt, but you're never going to grow.
That's what we're about here well, for those that are watching in the Facebook group,
right.
The Success Zone. But in my world, it's all about truth. And that's what we do. We tell you the truth.
Yeah. It's the more you keep on your plate, the less you are going to grow. Period. If you learn to delegate.
That's content. That's content for your page, by the way, Mara.
Can I get the transcript from this, please? It is on my page. Everyone is watching on there too. But you're never going to grow. If you keep everything on your own plate and you're not willing to look at options to get help, you will not grow. Period. It will hold you back. What people tend to look at is I need different marketing, I need sales, I need all of these things. If you're trying to do it all in the background, or you won't fully relinquish things to your team, or you're actually not hiring where you truly need help, you're not going to grow, or you're going to hinder your own opportunity. There is so much money that you leave on the table, either by not delegating and getting help because you think you can't afford it. You actually can't afford not to. You literally can't afford, thank you, Apple. You can't afford not to. And if you're hiring in all the wrong places and you're having the wrong people, you're only making your life more difficult. And you're not actually helping yourself.
Experience.
And you're still leaving money on the table. You're spending all this money out in places that it's not going to give you the return, as well as making you frustrated, angry, bitter. Depends on your human design, how this is going to manifest. But any of those feelings, all of that mental energy is wasted. Think about what you can do with it. So delegating and streamlining your team is probably the last growth strategy that people look at, when it actually should be the first, or one of the first, I should say.
Yeah, I think one of the first, and I'm going to interject here because, business coach coming in here, and I help people at all levels. And I mean, I'm going to go back a few years and say, like, when I was working with primarily like brand new business owners a few years ago, one of the first things that I told them, I had this, doc that kind of like outlined in a video that outlined the stages of business. So first module of the first program that they ever take starting their business is just to show them, like, this is when you should be hiring. This is when you should be, hiring contractors versus a team and all of that. You should know those things from day one, right? You might not be hiring day one. You might. I don't necessarily think that is always the best thing to do, but you should be aware of what your needs are potentially going to be and at what stages and when certain things are happening in your business. So it's not like this shock that all of a sudden 2 months into like this thing where you should have had someone 3 months ago, you're like, oh yeah, I hired someone.
Yeah, it's one of those things that can sneak up on people. Those that have been in business for a while, or it's not their first rodeo, typically are quicker to adopt help than those that have not done it before. We've identified the help that we know is going to be helpful early on that most wait to bring on board. So like me, I bring on different pieces of help much quicker than others would, but it allows me to grow really, really quick.
Yeah.
But I have that self-trust. I already know what help I need and when I need to bring it on board. So we're going to jump into that. So it's like, this is probably sounding, it's great. Okay. Yeah. I know I need help. I know I need a team. I know I need to maybe reassess the current team, but how do you do all of this? So Lori and I are always harping about is doing business your way. And part of that is delegating your way. So what does that mean? You're like, great, I know I need help. I'm going to define what I need help with. I'm going to go hire. Great. Right. Like, what is this magic delegating your way? You just identify what you need, go hire, right? Like, what is this magic thing?
Wave our little magic wand and then it just goes up, right? That's
right.
How it works.
Right. It's you. Some of you are like, yeah, okay, this isn't new. No, it's not a new concept. But what I see people doing is you hire to plug the holes rather than hiring aligned to your vision. So that is where the distinction comes in. I see a lot, especially those that are building their first business. I need social media help. I need someone just to post. I need someone to write my content. I know. I just like hit a trigger. Give me a minute. I'll never go into that trigger.
Reaction in me. People, oh God, so much to say about that.
Yeah, I know. There's a trigger there.
Hiring first. Yes, by the way.
Yes. No, it is not. However, we won't hit that trigger again. But people will, but I don't like to do it. I don't know how to do it. And yes, that might be a part of a reason why you may need that type of help. The difference is people will think they know where they need the help, or as they're growing their team, it's okay, well, we just identified we need XYZ help. I'm going to go put out a job description and I'm going to hire somebody. Okay, great. What happens over time, though, when you continue to do that is then you have people, you're probably wasting more money. You probably don't need all of the people. If you align everyone with where their zone of genius is and truly have a clear picture of what you need, you actually don't need as big of a team as you think you need.
No.
And it gets a whole lot cheaper, whole lot more streamlined, and I guarantee you, you will be happy. So the difference is, instead of hiring to plug the holes of what you think you need, every time you need to reassess this, or you think you need help, reassess the entire picture. I know some people are like, oh my God, I just need help. Let me just get somebody in here. Great. You do that and have fun with that. I'm going to challenge you. Take a little bit of time and actually assess what you truly need. Because you never know. You may have a team member that maybe they've done social media before. Maybe you didn't know it. Maybe they have an interest in learning how to do it, right? They do great work with what they do, but maybe they're like, I really always wanted to do that, like really explore it. You're not having to go hire someone else. Maybe you say, okay, great, or send them to some training. It's a whole lot cheaper than hiring somebody else.
Yeah.
You already have a loyal team member and you think that might fit in with what they do and they have a desire to learn. You can assess whether that's their zone of genius as they go, but it's a whole lot cheaper and you already have someone that's invested in your vision, right? Reassessing your path, your vision, and everyone that you have on your side every single time is actually the key to delegating properly.
Yeah. Oh, and I just thought of something as you were saying that, and I totally lost my train of thought. I was like, I'm going to be polite and not interrupt her. Okay, let me think.
Did you lose the train of thought? Okay.
I did lose my train of thought. Well, there was two things, and one thing I remember, but isn't necessarily what I wanted to say. But I'll say that one first. So something else, which is sort of related to what you were saying, sort of not. Again, I'll come back to the other point when I remember it. But so yes, to your point of like, you might already have that and getting that clarity in terms of like what you need and what you don't. And it's really important to actually step back and assess that. And I don't know, do you hear like an echo of my voice on your end at all when I'm talking? Okay, maybe it's just on my end. Hopefully you all aren't hearing it. You know, I like to hear myself talk too, but you know,
maybe not that much.
So anyway, I think, you know, yes, a lot of people jump to the I need help with social media small echo. Do you happen to have Facebook open on your computer? That's so weird. Okay, everybody, I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. So it's just going to keep happening probably.
Yeah, there's a slight echo, but it's not terrible.
Okay. Anyway, that aside, what I was aiming at there, I'm not getting distracted by the echo, was that sometimes the thing that you think you need isn't really actually what you need. And you were saying that, but I'm going to go so far as to say sometimes it has nothing to do with your business really at all. So that's why it's so important to really understand, because you might be thinking like content, use content because this one is really, really a big thing for me. And you might think, okay, I'm struggling with content and knowing what to say. And so your thing that you are thinking is, I need to hire somebody to do my content. But that's not actually what you need, because that person that you are going to hire isn't going to be able to read your mind and take your genius and convey it into the words that need to be communicated if you can't clarify that. So what actually needs to happen is that you need clarity. So if you don't feel like you have the time and space in your business to do that, instead of hiring someone to do the content for you, maybe you need to hire someone to cook your meals, or cook your meals, so that you can take the time to get really, really good at your content. Because hiring somebody, that is going to be throwing your money away. If you can't convey that message already, someone else isn't going to be able to do it for you.
Yeah. And that's a great example of really getting clear on the actual help you need. So it may be, okay, well, I struggle with writing content, and what do I say? Well, maybe you don't need someone to write it with you or write it for you. Maybe you need someone to help write it with you and to guide you on how to do it. So it's, by the way, she has a mastermind coming up that's amazing. You all need to get information on it. Anyway, I digress. But it's a great example of really getting clear on what you actually need help with, so that those dollars you spend on it, you're going to get the ROI, and you're not going, I'm going to go spend $1,000 on this person and $2,000 on this coach, and then I'm going to take this course, and then I'm going to go do this. Like, are those actually the things that you need? Or can you take the time and identify and get really, really clear on what it is you need before you spend that money? Before you just go shooting in the dark about what you need, you save a whole heck of a lot amount of money, when you do that. And it starts by you getting to know you. This is why I have, I use human design in all of my work. You all know that. We've had plenty of conversations about that, but that is why. That was the single biggest tool that I used, that made the biggest difference in my life and my business, with getting to know me. And then I applied that to my vision. I applied that to my business. And now I'm very clear as to what help I need, what I don't need, what's not going to be included, all of that. And then every time I'm looking to expand, or I follow that sacral breadcrumb that goes off, and seeing what opportunities are brought to me, I reassess everything that I'm doing. I reassess my entire team. And that's how I still keep things very, very streamlined with a smaller team and do what I do. So if all of this is really attractive to you, you're like, great, I don't want to spend thousands of dollars. I just want to spend what I need to spend to get the help I need. But how do I do this? So it does start with getting very, very clear. That is the what. So I like to talk about the who, what, when, where, why, and how of delegating. So you kind of start with the what. Why delegate, which we already went over. But then, okay, great. Why? We know why we need to delegate. You're not going to grow if you don't, period. Sorry for those that might not agree with me, but you're not going to. You're not going to. And if that's the level you want to be at, that is fine. Like, that is no problem at all.
I'm going to interject quickly if I can. Can I say, you will grow, but you will fall flat on your face and you will burn out. That is the difference. Because I have seen people do it, but that's the people that generally get to that point of like, I don't know how to handle this anymore. And they give up because they are just done, overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah. You just won't grow past a certain point.
Yes.
It's really what I meant. It doesn't mean you won't do anything at all, ever. It just means you won't be able to grow past a certain point. I mean, I've worked with 7-figure business owners that are still maintaining control over almost everything in their business and everything is running through them like, oh dear. And they're about to fall flat on their face. There's health issues. They're burnt out. They're overwhelmed. It's just how it happens, guys. It's not something to beat yourself up over. It just happens. But if you're aware of it before and you can try to prevent that, then that is key. So we've gone over why. Now the what is you actually have to get very clear on you first, what your business needs, and make sure you align all of this with your vision and how you work. So again, that's why I work with my clients with their human design. What I might recommend to one person who's a projector or some other part in their design that dictates it might be a completely different recommendation over here to my manifesting generator, because they work differently. Yeah, that one right
You
here.
can use me as an example if you want.
There are definitely different recommendations you make depending on who you are. So depending on who my client is and who I'm working with, can have identical situations, but they're going to be two very different recommendations depending on how they work, what they truly need help with, what their zone of genius is, and what we're going for. So determining what is, you have to get very, very clear on who you are, how you work, and then truly what the priority of need is.
Yes.
Right? So this is why, what. Now, who? Once you determine what, then you figure out who. I'm going to forget what words we've done so far. Then you figure out who. So now that you have this great idea of who you need, okay, you've identified this person, like, ooh, okay, now I know I just need some help figuring out how to write my content. I know I have it. I just need some help like formulating that content. And then maybe I just need help posting it. Like maybe that would take it off my plate, but I can still create it, right? Now you've actually gotten very, very clear on what you need. So you know you need the support to help you kind of know how to put it together so it doesn't become this frustrating, overwhelming process. And then you're going to see how easy that gets. And then maybe if you need someone to help you post it, great. We can look at that in a minute. So then maybe you need to look for someone like a Lori who can help walk you through, either through some of her masterminds where she's really great at teaching you how to come up with this, how to get very clear on your messaging, content that converts and all of that kind of stuff. Or, work one-on-one with her where she will guide you one-on-one in your particular content to make it easier for you to put all of this stuff together. Then implementation becomes really easy, right? You're not sitting there racking your brain. I can't come up with this content. This is terrible. If you're like me, it just doesn't happen. It's just not going to happen if you ask them. You're going to wait for a while. It's not going to happen. But that there you have spent your money and you've gotten the right help in the right places, rather than I need someone to do my content for me because I can't figure this out. And then you hire someone and here's what happens. You can't translate what you want because you're not clear on what you want, right? You just want it to be done. Like magically wave a magic wand and it happens. Okay, there's no translator on the planet that can make that happen. Because if that's your expectation, you're going to be disappointed every time. They're very talented people, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a clue,
you have to get a clue first. Like,
you have to get a clue first.
I'm going to interject here because I have clients that they come to me to write content, but they come without clarity and they're not ready. They're not ready for that work. Like you have to have the clarity first. And if you can't convey that to yourself, how do you expect some stranger who doesn't know you, doesn't know your business, to come in and be like, oh yeah, I'm also a mind reader. Did I forget to tell you? Copywriter / mind reader. I know exactly what you're thinking and exactly what your people need to hear. So of course, I'll just drill right into your brain and get that out for you.
Exactly. Not going to happen. So you're going to be disappointed. Same thing. I see people all the time. I just need to go hire a VA or an assistant, virtual assistant, VA. Because I just need to hand all this stuff over. and they just need to do it. Okay, great. But the expectation then becomes that they can just run with everything. Like you can just throw things at them and they can take initiative and they just run with everything. Now, don't get me wrong. There are assistants that can do that. They should really not call themselves virtual assistants. They're actually higher skill level than that. You need and I see it all the time. Well, I hired this VA and it's just so frustrating. Like, I just want them to do things and they just don't do them. Like, I need to tell them everything to do. Well, that's what a VA does. You have to tell them everything to do. You process it out and you have to tell them everything to do. And it's great. They're super, super helpful and there is a place for them.
Yeah.
But you have to have the right expectation for them. You have to maintain the managing piece. Now, if you want someone that can like help you manage some things and run with projects and takes a lot of initiative, you are not looking for a VA. You are looking either for higher level VA / OBM. For those of you that don't know what that is, that's online business manager, some kind of office manager, some kind of
operations manager.
Yeah, like higher level expertise. That is where it actually takes more off of your plate. So it depends on your need, who you need to hire. Again, that's where you have to get very, very clear on what you need before you figure out who you're hiring. Because a lot of people I have to work with I've hired 3 VAs and I just get so frustrated with them and I can't, they just don't do this stuff and I need it done. I don't want to have to tell them how to do it. I just need it done. That's great. You don't have the right person.
I don't know who would ever have said that to you. What?
I'm not talking about anyone in particular here.
No, but let me just interject and say, before starting my own business, I was like director of operations. I ran businesses. I did the kind of work that you do. So I know all of this stuff already too. So sometimes you might be like, well, I already know, like I was a manager and I did this and I did that in my business. And you're telling yourself, I know everything. Bullshit, 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 bullshit. I hope that Facebook isn't flagging this because I just said that so many times.
Well, we'll find out, I guess.
But sorry, like you might know something, but that doesn't mean that you're actually doing it in your own business.
Well, yeah, but to your point, and we're going to digress for a second and then get back. But like to your point, it's great if you did that before. That was your job before. The difference is when you become an entrepreneur and you are doing it for yourself, your job is actually different. Your job becomes the CEO. Your job is not integrator anymore.
Yep. And your CEO probably wasn't doing it at your job.
Probably not. They probably had a COO, director of operations, right? They had somebody implementing everything. They took that vision and they translated it into implementation. Most business owners want that translator, but they do not know how to have that translator as they grow. That's where I come in. That's what I do. You may not need full fractional COO services. You just may need a plan. You just may need someone to tell you the puzzle pieces to put into place. You may need a little bit of help from an OBM or something on a part-time basis. Yep, we do it all here at Whitener Pros. But that's where your job is actually not to do it. Your job is to be the visionary. So I love that you brought that up.
Yes. So did Deb. She got a good laugh out of that. Yes, it's so true.
It's your job is different now. Your job is the CEO, right? You're the visionary. You're going to do what you do best, which is not necessarily the other skills that you've done in the past. I am not discounting that knowledge whatsoever. But there's a lot of people, it's a hard transition then to go, okay, this is what I've done in the past. This is what I'm good with. Okay, if you don't change your mindset to be that CEO, again, you're going to hit a certain plateau. You're going to continue acting like a business owner, and you're not going to act like a CEO. So I feel like this is a whole nother conversation. Are you writing that down?
No, but I should, shouldn't I?
Yeah, add that to the list.
I was a note about it, but I wasn't here. I'll put it on our list.
This is another conversation. We're going to talk about that transition to business owner to CEO, and it's really embracing.
Well, I guess technically that was what I was typing. Yes. So.
Yes. So yeah, add that one to the list. But anyway, so that's part of this. Even if it's something you did in the past, that's not your job anymore. It's not your job. You are the CEO. You are the visionary. You have the ideas. You have where you want to go with this business. Someone else should be helping you figure out how to put that into implementation, right? And all the different pieces that go with it. Mm-hmm. So stay tuned. That subject is coming up, and I will get back. So
someone said they're writing it down. Let's see.
Good.
Deb is writing it down.
Awesome.
And I actually did turn on Otter in the background today. And I will also share it with you for your content. So you can thank me later.
Thank you very much. See, this is how you get help with content. You have great friends that Otter record your conversations. So then you can come up with content. This is what it's like to have the right people in the right places. So anyway, we've talked about why, we've talked about what, we've talked about who, when. We've kind of touched on when you delegate. You actually delegate before you need to delegate. It is somewhat of an unpopular opinion. People are like, well, why would I delegate before I need to? So you don't ever get overwhelmed and burnt out. You want to enjoy this journey, right? Mm-hmm. You didn't go into business to be frustrated and slave away and, oh my God, I got to think about all the things. And okay, great, I have a team and it's going well. And oh my God, now it's frustrating again. You did not join this. Now it can be a roller coaster, but you didn't join it wanting to do this. Mm-hmm. We kind of want to make it like this. Right? So
did not mean to do that. Sorry.
That's okay. I was like, well, we can make it my show. I'm good. But you kind of want to make it do this, right? Mm-hmm. Well, how do you do this? You delegate before you truly need it. So I'll give you an example. Previous businesses, despite the fact this is what I've done in my career, I have outgrown my own operations and been on the floor in the fetal position crying at 11 o'clock at night. It was not pretty. It was really the big crocodile tears. It was not a pretty sight.
Ugly crying.
It was really the ugly crying, in my carpet, just it's not a pretty sight. We don't want that, right? You want to have the team before you really need that. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I have learned my design and I am learning to live in complete alignment, not just in life, but in business. And so I actually have a sacral authority. I have a gut reaction in the moment. And so I follow my gut reactions. My entire team has been brought on board before I've needed them. And every time I bring them on board, I am trusting that my body just told me this is the right move for you. And I have. I have brought every single person on board. And then before they are ever maxed out, my gut goes off for the next person. And that is how I have built my team and built my agency. And I have trusted myself and brought on the help and invested before I needed it. And guess what? I bring on the clients. It is there already. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to go, oh shit. Now I got to go find this help. Now what do I need? You go into panic mode. You go into frustrated mode. Then you go into hire mode, and you're probably not going to hire the right person in that energy, right? Mm-hmm. Hire before you need it. I'm going to get pushback on that one, but hire before you need it.
Yeah. You might get a little bit of push. I might push back a little bit. I just want to clarify because I do know in my audience I have people at varying levels. This does not mean if you're getting like 4 clients a year that you should be out hiring an OBM, at $50,000 a year. Please don't go do that. Okay?
No.
Don't go do that.
That is not what I'm talking about.
Ask questions if you're not sure what that means. So that's the only way that I will push back, because yes, I agree. Like before, because when you're in the midst of something, like if you're like, okay, I have this new offer and I'll actually use it. I have since discontinued my membership because of shifts in the way that I wanted to do business, but we geared up to prepare for that ahead of time, knowing that, well, if I had continued, again, totally different reason because it was just not aligned for me. But if we had continued with that, we were going to have certain needs. And I will say, even while it was running, though, that was good, because if I would have been trying to do that all myself, it would have been a shit show, and it would have been disorganized, and people wouldn't have had the good experience that they did have in that membership. So, it is important to know, think ahead. Like I'm all about intuition and like following your gut feel in the moment, except if you're me, you need to wait 24 hours. But within 24 hours following that gut feel, I'm all about, following your intuition and what's right for you. And in this case, that's what you did. But you might be telling yourself, I'm scared shitless to spend that amount of money, thinking that's your gut feel. And that's what it's telling you, when in reality, it's probably not. So, yeah.
Right. But thank you for clarifying that even if you were earlier in your business and you're like, okay, we're just talking about making these big investments. It doesn't have to be big investments. I'm not talking about it has to be high dollar. It could be if you're getting 4 clients a year, but maybe it's that intuition that goes off. Well, I feel like I'm going to need help before long.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm not going to be able to handle much more. Guarantee you at some point that's going to go through your head, right? Look to bring on some help then, rather than before you get overwhelmed and crazy, right? And it could be a VA for 5 hours a week, just to take some of the little admin things off of your plate, give you a little bit more room. You could take on that next client. And it's easier, right? That's all I mean. Follow those little breadcrumbs with your intuition. If you get this I'm probably going to need help before long, but I don't need it yet. If you just had that thought that I'm going to need help before long, you want to go ahead and start exploring the idea and your options. And what it's for. And I guarantee you there's ways to do it very affordably, that it still may be an investment for you. Maybe it's a swap with somebody. It doesn't have to be a full investment. Like there's creative ways to do this. Trust me, I've probably done them all. Like swaps and all kinds of creativeness to bring in the resources and help you need. Like this does not have to be, oh my God, I have to sink down thousands of dollars on this. No. It's just following that intuitive breadcrumb when you have it. And looking at it before you need it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, is actually listening when you're like, yeah, I'm probably going to need that here soon. Okay, if you're already thinking that, go look at it.
Yes.
I guarantee you'll regret it if you don't.
Yeah. And if you're not sure, let me just say, if you're not sure whether you need it or don't need it, I guarantee you, if you reach out, well, probably to either one of us, and say, okay, this is where I'm at. What do you think? You'll point them in the right direction, or say, I know you do like the blueprint things too, where you like help people kind of plan out what they need, and maybe it's that, right?
Yeah. But yeah, if you know you've had that inkling, I know I'm going to need help soon. Let's talk. Lori can help you. I can help you. Reach out. Let's have a call. Let's see what you have going on. We have different options. I do this all the time with folks. I even get on quick strategy calls with folks. Let's talk through it really quickly.
Yeah.
What are you feeling? What's going on? Let's really analyze what you need and what you don't need so that you can stop trying to think your way through it and look at all the options you've now identified. You've gotten your clarity and you can move forward, right? It's super helpful, isn't it?
Yes. And I'll just say, I don't know if it's like, what about my human design? If it's the manifesting generator, the 1-3, my gates, all of that stuff, whatever it is. But for me, I do need to talk those things out, right? Like I know that is part of it. And otherwise, I'm going to go deep and I'm going to overthink it. And I have done this. I've done it with help and I've done it without. And I've wasted so much time and thousands and thousands and thousands. Like I'm being totally transparent, you guys. Like not saying that, I would give back the experience that I had because that's also part of my design, the whole trial and error. I learn and make the mistakes so that you guys don't have to. But that being said, I spent thousands of dollars that I could have saved had I done this sooner.
Yeah.
And that's from somebody with a background who actually knows what's needed. So
it's a whole different ballgame when you own your own business.
mm-hmm.
It really is. That is not your job to figure it out anymore. It's not. And it's a hard thing to let go of. But it's when you can go in and you can talk it through, you can at least just have the person to call and go, oh my God, now what?
Yeah.
It keeps you on the right path. And you're not wasting all of this time and all of this money, like going all over the place. You can just go where you need to go and move forward with your business.
Yeah. Having that clarity. So
yeah,
clarity.
I would encourage
that should be like the theme, right? Because for both of us, really, you need that clarity. You need the clarity for both of the parts of what we do. Once you have that clarity and that feeling of I need help, act on it. Don't ignore it. Don't say I can't afford this. Reach out, and just ask like, okay, I'm feeling this. I don't know how to make it happen. How do I make it happen?
Yeah, we'll guide you in the right direction.
Yeah.
Absolutely no obligation. Just come tell us what's happening. We'll guide you in the right direction. We'll get you to who you need to go to, whether it's us, whether it's somebody else, but we'll get you to where you need to go.
And it might just be saying you need to go get some clarity and do this first before you work with them, right?
Correct.
Sometimes that is going to happen.
Yeah. So if you just need someone to help you with the right direction, let us know. Reach out. We'll schedule a quick chat with you, and we'll go from there. But hopefully this has been helpful for you guys. It's really how you go about delegating that's aligned for you and aligned with your vision. And it's really going to help you propel things forward.
Yeah. Save you thousands, save you a lot of stress. And ultimately, when you take that stress off your plate, you open up your ability to actually receive more, to take on more clients, to bring in more money. So as scary as that is, sometimes it's the right step. So reach out, ask for help. We're here. And otherwise, we'll be back. I don't know when our next live is, but I know we have it scheduled and it'll be coming soon in the group.
It's in a couple weeks, middle of February. Stay tuned. I feel like it might even be Valentine's Day or the day before.
Valentine's Day is special for you.
I know. We're actually going to be talking about, are your offers aligned with your audience? So I'm really excited about how to analyze, are you offering the right things? And then are you writing that captivating content to bring them into those offers? Are you speaking to the right people? Are you saying the right things? And are you offering the right things? So join us next time in February and stay tuned.
Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Bye.